Okay. Good whatever.
Good evening.
Good evening, and good whatever you are, wherever you are, and wherever you're listening. So, welcome to the Vivek Raju podcast to everyone and to our guest Vivek Raju
Or wherever.
to the universe. So, uh, we actually got a recommendation from the first ever podcast that we had, at least second. First one is underpaid. So whenever you pay for that, we'll upload that one. But yeah, Abhimanyu told us that there's a great storyteller that I know that you should really doubt it. And we thought, yeah, why not? Probably we're going to be talking to a lot of UX designers. So why not talk to someone with a different title, and it'll be very interesting probably.
But I was going through Vivek's LinkedIn profile. You were also a UX designer.
You're talking about me.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that is something actually I saw. Okay, he's also a UX designer. I was for the first time excited to talk to someone who is not transitioning into something, but he is also transitioning from a UX designer to a storyteller. So can you introduce yourself quickly?
I would like to say, Vivek, what is your story?
Absolutely no pressure at all. Okay, thank you. Okay, so first of all, thank you for having me here. And again, it was Abhimanyu who had also given a small idea of what's happening. So really happy to be a part of this. Um, so I think from my background, whatever you've seen on LinkedIn is all there is. I started off as an electronics and communication engineer, like everybody else in the world, and moved into
Everybody else in India.
correct. Correct, India. Um, so from that engineering role, I got into an engineering job. I was into software testing and automation testing initially, which was really boring to me. And I thought I had some interest in drawing and stuff. I thought design might help. By showing some of my artwork and stuff, I was able to convince one internal team to add me into their UX team. And within my first organization, I was able to shift into uh, a design role. After some time, I realized I was not really doing a great job there. I wanted to maybe hone my skills a little better. From there, I again went to do a master's where I tried to pick up what really design means and try to understand how can I actually do good design. And because I did electronics, I did industrial product design. So all these tangible products. I was into sketching. I thought sketching, if you have sketching as your job in life, I think uh, your life should be set, right? Matlab, you're sketching for money. That's like almost close to an artistic life I'm living. But very soon I was working in some industrial design projects and all. I got bored. I shifted into digital design because there was more money there. Within that role also, so while I made that shift, what I understood was I only had industrial design kind of background and experience. But by talking about my work a certain way, I was able to get a UX role where I had absolutely no background in it. But still, I got a job with certain experience in on paper, even though I was showing a completely different kind of an outcome. So I had medical devices, which was 3D products. I showed them this. See, guys, I designed this. I need a digital design, an app design wala work. So somehow presenting this in a certain way helped me get that job. From there, UX design again was a little, with some time I got bored. Sorry to all UX designers around. But I couldn't get into the complex details of it. I was not very curious about things. So I got into this whole angle of service design, which was like, no, it's not just the app or the website that you have to design. You have to look at all the touch points. You have to look at everything. And so service design gave me that opportunity. I can look at the entire journey of any solution that you look in. I can decide every single thing in it. Again, that was fun in the beginning. And again, that transition, I was able to, all I had was a UX project. I was able to convince others saying that, yeah, showing this, a certain way of presenting this helped me get that role into service design. In service design is where I think a lot of self-reflection happened for me, where um service design is a lot of work. I have to talk to a lot of people, understand a lot of things, how things works. And
Are you talking about your time in design it?
correct. Yeah. So I was collecting a lot of information there. I'm not taking any brand names. I don't know what is whether whenever relevant, I'll maybe call that out. So it is in design it that I also got this opportunity to shift into service design. So that was also really fun. But it is in that kind of work that I was doing in the service design kind of projects. It's where the projects are huge in a company like Wipro and Design. If you look, projects are huge. There are 100 people in a project who are together building a single thing. And if you look at, so they say this about ants, right? Ants, uh, well, you've seen that video of this huge ant hill. So huge, it is some many meters long. It is a very complex ant hill underground that these ants built. So one ant that is building one piece of the ant hill has no clue how big this whole thing is. They are looking at, this is my task, I will keep doing it. So ants are very specific to their area and their work, and they keep doing it. To me, most employees in such organizations, in such teams of 100, 200 people, seem to me like that. That they are given some tasks, they do that, and they don't know what the big picture is. The big picture is never understood to the people who are actually working. There are few people in the leadership who might know, okay, this is what we are building. And then they break it into task. Finally, some fragment of that big thing is what comes to this final person. So I saw this and I realized nobody was understanding. So I got an opportunity to, in the duration of the project, somewhere I would come in and then I would struggle to make sense of what's happening, collect all the information, and then I would make a understanding of that project. After that, whoever gets into that project, my role, then I take up that role of explaining what this project is to them. Because then I started telling them, so this is what we are looking at. So there were multiple instances where these people who I explained it to were really able to get it. There were people who said, now we get what we are doing. So that really was some kind of a validation and feedback for me to understand, okay, maybe I'm doing this part, okay, I'm able to do this. The video or on a call, if I do that explanation, that call recording usually was shared with a lot of people to understand, okay, this is how this project is, what are we doing. So that sharing of my content of how I was really simplifying that complex things into this is all you need to know was something that is working out there. I saw that this is a repeated problem in a lot of different things, and I understood. I enjoy converting that complexity into something much more simple. And before we started this conversation, right, Almas, you had mentioned, I'm sorry, I'm calling it out, but you mentioned that you can see the reflection of light on that. I wouldn't say that. Yeah, you said that there is this. Can we move it? So you have a certain attention to detail in maybe in the visual space. Okay, in that visual, this is not looking okay. This is not looking okay. So you have that innate sensibility to understand visual design, right? Which is why I asked, what is your area of expertise? So maybe visual design is something that you're very naturally having an aptitude for. My aptitude for what I have an aptitude for is looking at something and think and trying to understand if it's making sense. If somebody says something, did it make sense? I very easily understand, okay, that didn't make sense, it made sense. I don't know if that made sense. It's correct. So if you would say something, like if you're explaining something, what in all our education, we are trained to do this, right? In teacher says something, we are just supposed to listen. Questioning is not something that we have learned. So my education was a little messy. So I'm okay just taking information and not looking at it. So information can just bypass without being understood. So I realized I have an aptitude for knowing that I did not get it. Ignore. I did not get it. Ignore. So whenever somebody says something and I don't get it, I'm very sensitive to that. So I realized that part about myself. I took that aptitude for simplification, and I connected that with whatever I was doing in my previous role, and looking at all of those things. And I was enjoying how workshops and things were done at that organization. And connecting all of these things, I around 6 months back started my own practice, and my practice is completely around storytelling. And my role is very simple. I sit with people and talk to them and ask them to explain what they do and explain their complex things. And I just keep repeatedly saying, I didn't get it, I didn't get it, I didn't get it, I didn't get it, till finally they make me understand. The moment they reach a point where they make me understand, it is at a very simplified form that everybody can understand. So it's almost like I'm selling my stupidity for a living.
Are you the 5-year-old everybody is talking about?
Yeah, deep inside, yes, that's me.
You know, what's the most interesting thing about the whole thing you said is, a great idea is something which you listen to and said, hey, why did I not think about this?
Absolutely.
And whatever you said made so much sense. It's so natural to everyone, but nobody actually thinks about it. Ki making sense of something is a talent. It's not that the other guy is bad at making someone explain, but maybe simplifying it to a level everybody can explain itself is a talent. And then someone who can help you with it, it can be a service. That's such a great idea.
I think it's Richard Feynman who mentioned that if you can't explain something in a very simplified format, then maybe you don't understand it that well. So I rely on that. Like, if you can't make me understand, maybe you don't know. So yeah. So that is my.
So what do you actually do as a narrative consultant?
Like I said, my the work that I did mostly involved a lot of conversations, and usually in companies with teams that are this big, conversations are happening on Teams calls where you're in a meeting explaining all of that, right? All these meetings. So this is I want to shout out to one of my close friends, Shubham Agarwal. He's the one who explained to me that a workshop is almost like it's like all these meetings that you're doing separately one off. If you bring them all together to one place and have that conversations together, that's what a workshop does. To me, that made a lot of sense. So that is something I really enjoy. That conversation is something that I really enjoy. So my role currently is I have a particular workshop that I have designed that is for founders, and the workshop is designed in such a way that in the process, the founder's idea of what they're building gets slowly extracted piece by piece, and whatever is not fitting together gets questioned, gets replaced with the right words, and slowly by the end of it, uh, the so if you okay, I think I need to step a little back also. So one common trait that I see with founders is that they have a very wide understanding of a particular domain. So if it's healthcare, they look at all those other things, but then on top of it, they also have team management. That there's lot of different things. One bundle is what they have, and this complex understanding of different things in that domain is like it's like this wool of you see this. I don't know what is the
Yeah.
yeah, yarn is like a proper thread wala thing, no?
Okay, the one which is
Before actually taking the thread out of it, that full thing is there, right? It is a complex set of information like that. That is how founders' understanding of the domain is, and that they rely from that, they have their intuitions coming from there. And when I talk to like 50-60 founders, everybody says one thing, which is they very heavily rely on the founder's intuition. It's like, and it's a feeling you can't really explain and put it into words. So this cloud of wool that you saw, this is what leads to that intuition. But this intuition is not enough for others to make sense of, right? So my job is this: I take that full cloud and slowly pull, like from charka or something, slowly pull a thread out of it. So I sit with them and I help in articulating that intuition. Intuition is great, it helps you, but I want to make sense of your intuition. So the workshop is designed in such a way that their intuition is slowly transformed into articulate narrative. So my role is simple. I have a workshop where a founder comes. I have a founder or the team of founders. They come together. We sit in that workshop. By the end of it, maybe one session, maybe 3 or 4 sessions. By the end of it, they will have a very specific, clear, crisp way of talking about their work.
Are you saying you make them understand what their niche is? Is that
Yeah. So
the way of putting it out?
more than understanding their niche, how should they talk about their particular? You could say it's part positioning. It is understanding the niche. It's also the language. All of these things. Like for example, there's a very recent conversation that I had where There were a lot of hard, it's a reductionist, that this book. There were so many hard words used in explaining what they do. And it's so the moment you bring in words like that, whoever is listening don't really understand what you're offering us. So I help in simplifying that into a narrative so that it is understood by whoever is listening.
To streamline it and then simplify it.
Correct. It's like, yeah, I've thought of calling it as narrative archaeology, which means the pieces of your story. It's like those broken ancient pieces under the earth, right? You need to first dig properly so that all these small pieces come out, and then you need to take it and then you need to fit it in a right format so that all these broken pieces of plate needs to be put together and then it forms a plate, right? You find those pieces and then you clean it up and put it in a museum. So my job is that. So you have a lot of hidden nuggets of stories. I dig, find those pieces, put them in the right format, structure it into the right thing, and then clean it up and put it in the museum so that everybody gets it.
How does it help these businesses?
Hmm.
I mean, what is the advantage or what is it that they get out of it? If you are, I understand that they get a clarity, but from the business point of view, how is it going to help them make money?
Got it. Okay. How is it going to help them make money? So it's almost like this whole discussion about the value of design, ROI of design.
ROI.
I know there's a lot of calculations that you can show, but in many cases, right, it's very hard to measure it, right? But to maybe at least try and make it a bit more tangible, the same wool to thread idea that I said, right? The thread is only the midpoint. Now this thread can be used to make a sweater. The thread can be used to make a shirt. So like that, the base narrative or that positioning, that narrative that I create, now that is the foundation for somebody to create their investor pitch. So for some clients, I've done that conversion from this base narrative. I convert it into a investor pitch or a sales pitch. It can also be converted into marketing content. And in many cases, one thing that I've understood is a team, when they're working together, not the team, the founding team itself don't understand what are we building together. All the 5 people in the team had a different idea of what is being built when they were asked. This one story brings them all to that one single point. Now everybody is aligned on what's being built, and obviously we know when everybody is aligned, the outcome is going to be better. They are all building towards the same North Star that's been clearly marked now. Earlier it is like, I understand this, I'm going to do this. I understand this, I'm going to do this. So that streamlining of a team also happens out of this. So can you really put a number to this? I'm not sure yet. I'm still in the process of figuring out how exactly do I, because see, this question that you asked is a very, very important question by most founders. Because if they are going to invest in something like this, they're going to ask, okay, what is the real ROI from this, right? Honest answer is I don't know. I can't give you a number, but I can tell you that this will help you easily put together your decks, your marketing. All of those things can easily start from this single source of truth.
So how do you tie up the storytelling to marketing? Because branding, because even in branding, the usage of copywriting becomes really important.
Correct.
And why not copywriting? Why storytelling?
Okay. So I am a very firm believer. There is enough information out there also. For anybody who's interested, there's this book called Story Smart. Okay, it's by somebody called I think Kendall Haven. So he's a story scientist. Okay, so
Story scientist.
yeah. So what he says is that our brain automatically takes any information that comes in and converts it into a story, and then only it will do anything with that information. Any information that you get has to be converted into a story. If there are missing pieces in the story, it is automatically going to be uh, it's going to be, the brain will make it into a story. I don't know if I can give an example.
It's easier for us to visualize a story,
Correct.
remember it.
If I'm remembering it well, okay, there is this example that he gives in his book. A person, I think Mary is asking other guy, a person, did you see John? And John did you see John? And the other guy says, I saw his car outside Susan's. That's it. There are these two statements. So I tried this experiment in a public one talk I was giving. I tried this. So I said, okay. Mary asked, "Did you see John?" And the other person, Richard, responds, "I saw his car outside Susan's." And I asked, okay, from that crowd who was anywhere, what have you thought? What does that like? I gave you only these two information. What are you thinking? How many of you thought that there is something going on between John and Susan? And a lot of hands are coming up. And again, Susan's is the name of a pub. But that information is not important. With whatever fragments of information that you get, automatically our brain puts it into a certain story.
This trial.
Correct. Yeah, there is exactly. So that sense making happens like that. So he was this guy called Kendall Haven. He was constantly saying our human brain is tuned for stories. So our brain. So our understanding can be broken down in terms of stories. Now
The mental model.
correct. All of that is understood in terms of stories. There is a certain shape for a story to happen. That is how human brain takes in information. Now the question about branding. Why do you do branding? You do branding so that there is a certain identity that you're putting out there, and this identity is understood by your customer, and the customer thinks a certain way about you. Right.
The reputation.
Correct. So they need to think something about you. So in a story, there is this. So what this Kendall Haven says, there is an example that he used where, when like he used. I don't know if we want to get into that example, but what he says is, when you're branding, you need to tell the story of the user. Like for example,
Not
Nike.
yourself.
Correct. If you're looking at Nike, the story of Nike will be the story of an athlete. An athlete is the main character. An athlete who wants to win. Athlete who wants to succeed in life. Who wants to be consistent.
They never sell the product.
Correct.
They sell a story.
Correct. So athlete going somewhere is the story, and in that story, where does Nike come in? We'll support you to reach that goal of yours.
Very recent, a very fun example of this was the iPhone in an auto. So a girl is in Bangalore going through the traffic in the auto, and the phone falls, but nothing happens to it because it's an iPhone. So that's one small ad I saw.
So if you think of that, no, so Apple is the brand. Okay, was it an Apple brand? Apple ad? I missed that one. So here, if when Apple wants to show their brand, or that message needs to be sent, they're not saying our brand, our Apple phone is super strong. Okay, they're not saying that. They're saying they have put now the story into that girl's story. A normal person, typical person who is traveling in auto. No, that's any of us. In auto, they are traveling and they drop their phone. No, it's any of our stories. There, they nicely plug in, nothing happens to your phone. Oh, but that being said, are you seeing all those scratches on the iPhone 17?
Recent one, yes. Heard of it.
Nobody believes in that, yeah?
I am a Pixel guy.
So you had given up long time back. Good job.
I have a question. So in a story, I feel like language is one of the most important parts. And have you had experiences where you had to convert the story also from one language to other? Like from English to, let's say, Malayalam, or from Hindi to English? Have you done this? Yeah.
Answer is no. I haven't had the need to make that conversion. Story and language. Like, are you coming from? Can you elaborate that question? Like, is it a certain reason that you're asking this question?
Yeah. So let's say I was talking to a guy who is a founder, and he's very Mangalorean, and Yoda, Macha, all that. He's very good at communicating, but he wants to sell to the world. And if he's telling his story in Bangalore English, he might not be able to communicate that efficiently
With others who are non-Bangaloreans, you mean?
for the world. Yeah, let's say someone in California. So how does that come in? Because it's still English to English. Still there is a gap.
Okay, I'll raise the question of how important is the da macha, that vibe of that founder. How important is it in his local communication? Is it very important, that vibe of his?
Not important, but I don't think it's not relevant to the local context. because we are in Bangalore. If we were somewhere else, it would have been important that people might find it a little difficult. Here we all are used to.
So, if that person is already communicating in English, and especially given most of the founders here and all, I think English is a very primary communication tool. So, I personally have not had to do that conversion ever. That okay, they are talking a certain way, because I think we naturally have that attraction to English. We give higher value to English. That's a problem, I think, and
It's a business language.
correct. And I think a lot of people, so English as a language is given more value for when you want to scale. All of those things come into the picture, right? So if you, I mean, I can talk about Kerala, but in Kerala there are some brands that are very mallu in their identity. Now, can a very a brand who's very strong in their mallu identity, can they go sell that in China? I don't know. I don't know if they can make a sale in Germany or not. But that strong identity of that malluness that they have is
Working for them in that region.
correct. It will be for that target of mallus anywhere.
I just remembered there's a very specific Maithili brand called Jhaji Achar. Okay, and they sell pickles, achar, which is very local in flavor, but it is not targeted to the local people, right? It is targeted to us who live far away from home.
Correct. But you still have a string that connects you to that place, right?
The metally thing.
So your identity as a person from that place, now this is almost nostalgic for you. This is connecting you back to your roots. If you bring that same achar to me, I might look at it like, okay, a different thing, great. But I don't have the same bonding with that or the memory. Like that ratatouille scene, no, he takes that ratatouille and goes back to his childhood.
Now, someone with such complex of such niche, stories, how would they communicate? Would they communicate in the local language? Would they communicate in English or a mix of it?
So, I mean, that's a very that's a question that very clearly needs the answer. It depends, because if you have a tech product that is for it's a to do list app that you're creating, you can sell it to anybody. You can use English as your primary language. You can sell it to anybody. But like you said, if it's an achar or if it is something very specific to a particular community, uh, if they really want to sell to that community, then it is good to own that, own up that their OG language, their original identity. The more they stick back into it, more and more people will come in. But if you look at fashion, I think slowly that transformation is happening, right? That Madras checks wala lungi and all, if you see, that is something very specifically South Indian, one kind of fashion, but now it's coming everywhere. Even the shawls and all of those things have gone to outer countries where the identity of that is not. It is going away from the OG thing. So there the scaling is happening. Yeah, what was that?
Any culture.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think Sheer Shakkara.
Hero Shakkar.
Shiro Shakra, that textile. It's a particular textile that I think it's an Indian. From Jodhpur. Okay, so it is Sheer Shakkar means
Sugar and milk.
sugar and milk. Okay, so you must have seen that cloth, which has two kinds of textures on it. There is a rough texture, there is a smooth texture. So that rough and smooth texture, when you're wearing it, the contact it has with your body is reduced because it is rough, and in hot places that helps. So that was something that was here in India, and it has spread out all over the world. And somebody was saying it is in. I saw recently a post where somebody was saying this came from New Orleans. And then like, okay, this is the only thing that has come from New Orleans. Okay, they are presenting Sheer Shakkar. I'm like, they call it Seer Sakkar.
Shiro Shakkar.
Some Seer Sakkar is
Sucker. They call it some sucker.
Seer Sakkar is a new name that they're given.
This is what these Americans do. They go and talk about turmeric like it's an origin.
So now that is where this whole topic comes. Now, if you have something, if you really hold on to your identity, you'll own that identity. The problem with that is you will struggle with the scaling part. Not everybody will get it. Very a few people will get it. But if you're happy with that, great. Scaling ka time is where the language English comes into picture.
I'd like to digress a little towards story. How important is storytelling? Now we get to work with a lot of UX designers, and when we are working with their portfolios or the way they have to structure their work, the way they have to present their work during job hunting, especially, they struggle with talking about what they have done.
Yeah.
Now that I deal with a lot of designers where I help them with their personal branding and their storytelling. What is your take on it? How important is it for a designer to be good in telling a story about their work?
Simple answer, yes. 100%, 100% one of the most important skills a designer needs. And which is what I was saying, while in my journey also, at every point, while I was doing tangible products, I was able to get into a digital design role because I was able to present this work in a certain format so that the person who is hiring still felt okay, even though he has not done anything related to our work, this guy gets the process, he gets it. So maybe he can also do this. So if somebody has to feel that, oh, he gets it, then there needs to be a really good communication that happens. So for a period, I was part of the hiring team in my last organization. Um what you said is a very real problem. There is a certain case study format in Behance, and that format is what every single person comes to interviews with. They have the same user persona that I and I'm going to be honest. There is a project that I had in my Behance portfolio which was in that format. There was a time where that was it, but everybody now follows the same step.
Same steps, yes.
And now, if you see that itself, you understand that yeah, it's not making sense. So so this was a very repeated thing, and I think storytelling is really important. Otherwise, anybody who's hiring looks at a case study and thinks this is just a it's just a vomiting of all the information, a dump of all that information. Just put it there, and you have come. And in that explanation, they lose. Hiring managers, they lose interest while they're hearing to this.
A good example of that is you have put a persona. Why did you put? What was it even needed?
So how I used to check in such situations is when they say, then I did this process. So I usually ask this question of, okay, so you did this. After doing this step, what did you get from this step that you have actually used in the next one? Can you explain that? In most cases, they can't. So one thing that I usually
Some tips.
yeah, so one tip that I usually give for people while they are presenting their case studies is that before starting your case study presentation, always start with a elevator pitch. And that elevator pitch is very simple, and I share a very simple formula for it. I call it the burger method. So the problem that most of us have is that we have a solution. I designed this, and we take this feature and we keep showing this. That designed feature or that solution that you have is like the patty of the burger. Would you ever serve just the patty? I know you chart mein there isn't, but in as a burger ka patty, you wouldn't just serve it, right? So for it to be a complete burger, it has to be kept between the two buns, and that is problem and impact. So this tiny thing, problem, solution, impact, that burger is the smallest, easiest story that you can create. That is the easiest framework that you can use. So when you have a case study, you take whatever you have done here, take all of that, compress it into this tiny this burger,
30 seconds.
30 seconds to 1 minute, make that burger version of it. Before you start presenting the case study, give this burger version of what you have done. What happens is, it creates a certain curiosity in the hiring manager, and if you do this well, it creates so much curiosity. Yeah, how did you pull that off? Now I want to know more. If you make the hiring manager think that, if you make the hiring manager curious about your process, how did you actually pull that off, then I think you're successful. So yeah, so I that is one tip that I always share. Start always with the elevator pitch or a burger. And
This impact bit is missed by everyone. Almost everyone just forgets about the impact.
It's just the responsibilities they want to dump into their
it's just idea. They think it's the brainstorming and coming up with the idea is the most important aspect. Is what most people consider.
And if you just break down the word impact, it's the fancy of way of saying that how are you making money for me, right? At the end of the impact is about how are we making money out of it.
for the business that you're working in.
because you could be solving 100 user pain points, but if it is not making money, it's not an NGO. So yeah,
Correct. Unless you're actually an NGO, you can do that. Yeah.
how many times have you actually helped people cover up things that look bad in their story?
Cover up things that look bad in the story. What do you mean by looking bad in story? Yeah?
Like someone would just come up with an idea, say, I just want to do this because it makes a lot of money. So they do not have a story as such.
Yeah. Okay. Cover up that thing part. Huh? I've had to do that. I have had to do that with a few clients, but I'm also trying to look at it differently. Okay. Somebody wanting to make money is a story. I don't think there's a lack of story there. That person's priority is this. So then we have to now deep dive into why does this person want to make money like this. So if I look at look at it like that, then the core skill or the power superpower that particular founder has come to that place with is they're great with business models and finding the right opportunities. So they have an eye for it. So all I need to now make a story is about that. This is, you have an eye for figuring this out, and we have figured out this particular, like, so there was this I don't know how much I can share about this though. There was this EV automotive company that I was supporting with. It's not, my wife works for Ather. It's not Ather. Okay. It's a startup. And so they were trying to uh, launch a new product. And there, initially when they talked about it is a money making thing. Okay. So we want to make money because this place is, this will sell a lot is what they were saying. But then by making money, there is also, so by selling that, that particular product that they had, if there are enough of those product in the market in India, our logistic system is going to be maybe 20 or 30% more efficient. Anybody who uses the product is going to make now 15,000 rupees more in a month. Any driver who's using that automobile. So even though their intention was making money, if it succeeds, it has ROI. It has ROI for a lot of people. So all I need to do is take my focus there, the attention from we make money to we make logistics 20% more efficient. So I think all stories have all those pieces. It is just changing where you focus on and talk about the right things, and people will start noticing. So so to answer the question, yes, I've had to cover up, but I don't judge the covering up process. It is not really covering up, it is just shifting or reframing is what I would call it.
Do you have any person who you look up to, your influence in the field of storytelling? I know you quoted a few books, but anybody who's
Someone alive.
alive, or maybe not alive as well, because those people have really done great amount of work and gone.
So the I don't know. So this myth and understanding. So we have myths in all around the world, right? And there's this person called Joseph Campbell who wrote this book, Hero with a Thousand Faces. So that person has actually studied myths all around the world, and by looking at that, all the myths around the world, he noticed that all of these myths have a certain format,
Heroes.
irrespective. The hero's journey, correct. So he's a person who saw that even if there were two communities or two tribes who have never been in touch in 10,000 years, still the myth that has come out of it appear to have a similar format. So he called out that human brains work and evolve in a certain format, irrespective of it whether it is shared or not. There is a certain pattern that was coming out. So Joseph Campbell was a person who marked and created this framework called Hero's Journey. Hero's Journey is the baseline for most movies, whatever you look, movies, novels, any story that you think works would have a Hero's Journey.
It's a framework now at this point.
Correct. Right now it is used like that. Which is okay. It's okay to be framework because I use it.
So there is a hero, there is a guide, and then there is
Correct.
a story behind it. And usually the hero is not the successful person. I read this from this book called Building a Brand Story.
Yeah.
So this is what he talks about. Like, is the hero there is a guide, and this guide is usually someone who's helping the hero succeed.
That's one of the roles, but hero's journey is more about getting someone being comfortable somewhere and then getting away from that comfort, trying to achieve something, and coming back to a woman for guidance. It's mostly a woman, if I'm not wrong.
That I'm not sure if it's a I don't gender I don't know.
Yeah, but I read it somewhere that that particular role is associated with being female, and then doing better and stuff like that, and then reaching somewhere to gain respect. Is that, as we say?
Reaching back to your original place and then sharing a lot of, so it's like a circle. So you were in a complacent what is that movie, that game, in that into they go into the gaming world,
Jumanji?
real time, they wear that VR glasses kind of
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One. So Ready Player One mein, if you look at the stories, exactly this. There are more stories. There is a hero who is comfortable in their life. They don't want to do anything. Some situation happens and now they have to get in. They are trying. Star Wars. There is Yoda, who is the guide who comes and trains. Lord of the Rings. There also, if you look, they were happily living. Suddenly, one the work has been given. On the way, Gandalf, the person supports, and they then come back to their original place as a changed person. So this is the hero's journey. So Joseph Campbell is one person who is really something that has created this framework. So that's really and the book that is talked about, brand story, right? There they have really called out, just for the sake of understanding, if you are a brand, you need to be the Gandalf, you need to be the Yoda. You should never try to be the main character.
Yeah.
And the main character is your user. So that is the core of what they're trying to say.
The user is the hero, you are the guide, and for you to succeed, I'm gonna help you. I'll be the Yoda for you.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then there is this TED talk called The Magical Science of Storytelling. It is by somebody by the name of David J.P. Phillips. I don't know how many people will connect with that particular video. To me, that video, that is where I decided I'm going to be a storyteller. So this guy in the video, he talks about something and he's telling a story, and in one place he goes and he pauses and he waits, and everybody is like looking and waiting for that, and he says, what he just experienced is dopamine. And I'm like, dude, what are you saying? And then he does and then what he just experienced is serotonin. I'm like, dude, he's teaching biology in this TED talk. And that really gave me this feeling that, yeah, you by using words in a certain modulated format, you can actually control what your audience feels, what goes through their mind. And that felt like a superpower. So I'm really I'm really attracted to that power, maybe, I don't know, of actually talking and making them feel something.
It is said that humanity survived because of stories, because that's how knowledge was passed for a long time. So stories are very powerful in a lot of sense.
Yeah. See, like you said, no, when fire was first identified by tribes, what it really did was, people ka day ended, the early man day ended by some 6 o'clock. It's all dark, they go sleep. That's what used to happen. At a point, fire was discovered, and then they started doing campfires. And the first thing that it did was cooking, all of that happened, but their day got extended. From 6 o'clock, now it has gone to 10 o'clock. Though there are these 4 hours added to every people's day, and it is non-productive time. So there is this anthropologist by the name of Polly Weisner who went and did the Bushmen of, I think, Kalahari, there, where she studied them for 40 years. And what she noticed was, morning mein these people talk different stories about, where is this, where is that, where is the salt, where is all of those things they talk. But by the time the campfire starts and people come around, suddenly the kind of things that they talk about is different. They're all talking about community, we are working together, what they're talking about, future vision, and suddenly it's a very community based thing. It is not transactional. So after fire was discovered and people started sitting and talking together, that's where myths and legends and stories started being built. So, like, for example, they would say, if you go that way, there is a lion, or if there is one person who killed a lion, a ferocious lion, and that story becomes a legend there. And then slowly that forms into myths. And that whole thing of story slowly trickling into the human brain started there. Fire came, around fire people started sitting and talking, and there must have been tribes who did not do this. So they did not know, if I go this way, there's a lion who will kill me. the people who are actually telling the stories and sharing that knowledge, they survived better. Slowly, everybody started doing stories. And I think storytelling is the core superpower of humans because of that change. And I think right now we have evolved into a point where everybody functions on stories.
And the person who tells the story holds a lot of power, like you said. It-
I didn't say that. Steve Jobs said that.
and there is narrative that can be built, which can be positive, that can be negative. It can be used for so many things. And sometimes when you lose control over it, you're doomed.
Yeah. Correct. I mean, if you look at world politics right now, you can see that narratives are. I don't want to get into it, but what I'm saying is narratives play a huge role of what people think about something. Right. So
What happens when what you're doing doesn't work?
you mean like right now?
Yeah. So no, not in this sense. I'll rephrase it.
Yeah.
So let's say you give someone their story, and they come back and say, "Hey, it didn't work. It actually did more negative than positive."
Hmm. Okay. That hasn't happened because it's not usually one story that is given at any point. So staying true to the essence of design, you need iterations, you need variations. So if I say this is the right story, this is going to work, I will be wrong for sure. So there needs to be variations. There needs to be like 4 or 5 possible stories. So like one of the companies that I'm supporting right now is a immersive tech for various industries. They're looking at real estate right now. So for that immersive tech in real estate, for that I've created 5 stories for them right now. Now these 5 stories, they will have to know experiment. They will tell version 1, version 2, version 3 in different areas, and then take the feedback on which is the one that worked the most.
Because I'm a designer, I'll ask this obnoxious question: what is low fidelity for you as a storyteller, and what is high fidelity for you as a story?
Okay. So low fidelity is almost like the investor pitch for me. So lowest fidelity would be a set of sticky notes like how you have there. A sticky note on it will be who's the main character, what is the goal that they're trying to reach, what is stopping them from reaching there, what kind of support are you being for them, and if they do all of this, what is the beautiful future that they're going to get. In like 6 or 7 stickies, I put just capture this information. This is the lowest fidelity for understanding. Where main character, their goal, their conflict or villain, how you support, and what is a beautiful future. This is low fidelity.
It's just like any movie story.
Yeah, anything, any brand ka thing is a movie story, and um it adds to your identity, all of those things. So yeah, that is the lowest fidelity. Highest fidelity would be an investor pitch deck, how it actually translates into the final artifact of what is being said.
It would also impact their branding as well, right? That is also high fidelity because their whole website, their whole apps, everything. Yeah.
Correct. So uh, anything that finally gets to be, so if you figured out a predictable working narrative, till then you have to explore with the like any UX process, you have to explore with the low fidelity. Once you figure out the narrative that works, then you take that, then you add layers to it. You make it into an investor pitch. How do you, so uh, like for example, if you figure out the problem right now, this is not really connected to what I this branding things, but for example, if there is a problem, so in a public talk, okay, so if I'm giving talks, okay, so let's take that example. The process are pretty much the same. If I'm giving a talk at a conference, uh, there would be something that I want to say. So my low fidelity there would be, what do the audience are designers, and I might be looking at the problem of stakeholders not giving you full respect and value. That you say this is how we should do. They say nay for business. This is what we have to do. Let's go ahead with this. And the power that a designer holds is less. It's a reality all around the world where value of design is now slowly being questioned with AI. Also, it's that in industry level, thoda risky place where we are sitting because ROI is not so clearly visible. So in most of these tables where designer is putting something forth, nobody really takes that forward. There is only some you design the screen at a strategic level. Designers value is not really taken a lot in most cases. That's how the reality is.
That's what experience Wave is fighting for. By the
What the company is trying to do is actually tell people what they're supposed to believe in and then execute, right? So it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
And so that's a struggle, right? So there was one talk where I had to explain this. Now I want to tell about that problem of this designers giving their inputs but people not listening. So the bare bones of that low fidelity would be designer goal is to build a good product. Villain is that our inputs are not taken, all of that, right? So to make people realize that, yeah, a lot of people don't realize this also. They're given some screens, they design the screen, go home. Yeah, so they don't know that there is a bigger role that they're supposed to play there. So to first make them, so my after the bare bones in my end level fidelity, high fidelity mein, how I actually convey this is, I want to make them feel the problem. The problem of when you say something, you will not, people don't listen to you. So for that, that is where I rely on older existing stories. So there is this Greek old story of Cassandra. There's a Cassandra effect. So Cassandra was somebody who was, I think, cursed by Apollo, the god Apollo, that you will be able to see the future, but whatever you see and you tell to others, nobody will believe you. That was a curse that they had. So Troy movie, if you have seen, the Trojan War, all of those things, this girl had predicted. She had seen, and she's crying and telling the Trojan horse that was brought in to ruin their kingdom. She told, please don't bring it in. It will kill us all. She had already seen it. Nobody listens, and the entire place gets killed. Lastly, when she's taken as a slave to Agamemnon, the king's palace, she's outside and she sees that, yeah, the moment I get into this palace, this Agamemnon's wife is going to kill me and Agamemnon. She sees it, she begs to these people, yeah, please don't make me go inside, I'm gonna be killed. Nobody listens. She's taken in and she's killed there. So her cry standing there is one of the most tragic moments that has been captured. The father of tragedy, before Shakespeare, I don't know his name, he has written a monologue specifically for Cassandra. There's something called Cassandra effect. It is such a painful thing that, yeah, I say something, nobody believes me. So I use this story to start off something, and I come and pinpoint that point where this person is feeling helpless. She's seeing the future and crying out for help. Nobody listens. This is what a designer's role is going to be like. You will know that this is going to fail, but still you will have to go and create that screen and place that button there and slowly watch this entire thing go down, sink. So to full focus onto that problem, I use a story. Same, I had a conversation or a conference talk last week where I was talking about um, people and their work. I don't know. You all work for 15 years, 5-6 years. After a certain point in a company, the kind of projects and work that keeps coming, it starts feeling repetitive. It's the same stuff. It keeps repeating. And most people at that point say, okay, time to switch jobs. So to bring attention to that, there is this story of Greek myth of King Sisyphus. His punishment was to push a big boulder up a mountain, and as he is pushing, as he reaches the top of the mountain, this thing gets so heavy that it comes back down. So he has to come back down and push it back up, and for all eternity, he has to just keep pushing this back up. It keeps coming down. This is considered one of the worst punishments in Greek mythology, may they say. So now once I say that story, that repetitiveness and the mundaneness, and there is this concept of absurdism by Albert Camus. So he, let me not digress too much. What I'm saying is, high fidelity are the actual stories and the actual content that you use to make your audience feel something. The low fidelity is for me to understand who is the main character, what is their goal, what am I giving to this main character, and what is the future I'm promising to provide them. From low fidelity to high fidelity is an actual story.
I think I'll ask this again. How is storytelling different from copywriting now?
Okay, copywriting.
No, because when you're writing something on your website,
Yeah.
or where people are reading it, you need to position yourself as someone who's helping, and that the way you write, the words that you use, actually makes a lot of sense to the person reading it.
Got
And if it doesn't, you're not sold.
it. Okay. So, have you had the Kerala Sadhya?
Want to. I have always been wanting that.
Okay.
I know what comes.
-2 marks. Okay. Then what is a meal that you and like a full meal? Like what is a meal that you have you tried anything?
Yes. The South Indian
Full
food.
a South Indian meal that you've tried, no? So a story is the sadhya. Copywriting is one different. So you use copywriting, you use visuals, you use all the elements to come together and tell a story. Copywriting is a tool for you to tell a particular story. Yeah, it helps you tell that better. You can change the copywriting into something and still tell the same story. Copywriting is not the foundation. Foundation is the story. Yeah.
It's like font and colors are just tools for hierarchy.
Correct.
What kind of companies are difficult for you to work with? Like, is it the B2B or the
B2C is tougher to work is because marketing is tough. There's a lot of I feel like I don't understand and I've not done that a lot also. I somehow feel I've not really done a deep dive into that. B2B at the same time is much more straightforward because it is for a particular this product is a particular puzzle piece which they know that this organization is working a certain way. This will go and fit there. But B2C is much tougher. There are a lot of different kind of personas, and B2B is much easier. And B2B may also there's a lot of already content out there. Like that content has helped me make an understanding of B2B space because B2B may at the end I understand most in bigger corporations. I only need to tackle the feeling of fear. That is the thing I need to beat. Because in like for example, if it's a big organization and you are a product for let's say an HR management product or a talent acquisition product that you are creating, and you go to this particular corporation and say that corporate and say that use my product for hiring going forward. The problem that this B2B company is this big corporate is going to, the biggest worry would be that the decision of changing to they are using product A, you are coming with product B. The biggest problem that this company will face is that there's one person who has to decide, let's leave A and take B. And the chances of it not working out is so high that, and if they make that decision and they mess it up, the entire blame falls on this person who took that decision. And their leaders are all giving that task on him, and this guy's role gets messed up. So that fear of getting something new and messing it up is the biggest problem in B2Bs in most cases. Today, take in smaller startups, I don't know, but bigger corporates, if you're actually providing a product, the biggest problem is me just knowing that fear is a feeling that I need to tackle. Makes B2B a little more easier, and it's a very specific thing. They know it's much more easier to figure out. The moving parts are lesser. B2C, I haven't explored it enough to. Yeah.
important. Which are some of the brands do you think have nailed the narrative when it comes to storytelling?
Okay, case studies and examples are something that I'm really bad at. Like for example,
I know Nike.
correct.
Is there anything else that we can?
So there's this brand Patagonia. So I have not used their product, so I don't have that visceral love towards that brand and all. But they are known for being very sustainable and same. I think Birkenstock also was a brand like that. They were using all very sustainable process of very costly, but
Extremely.
so the narrative behind is that we are this kind of a company. What other brand?
Any Indian brand that you can name?
So Thread, if you look at it, no. So Thread is really diving deep into that identity. We are, as listeners, I'm sure you're all following the decision making and things that happen there. No? So Credme, I see they are very much into they're going along that thought process of So visual design really is an important aspect of design. You functionality and all is there, but visual design is also very important. It's gonna help people choose. And initially, I was on the side that yeah, you make this beautiful, colorful this thing, but if it's not great, it's not working great, then what is the point? But then I've talked to many people who use cred just for that flare and that thing happening, and that's when I started questioning my thoughts. Oh, okay. I thought functionality was most important. Apparently, it's not. There is a love for delight also that's coming out there. So cred, I think, is very strongly, sticking to that their brand. If you look at it, initially it was all cred of that means credibility. You have the best credit scores, and there was a certain brand that they built, right? So it automatically became something premium. So that feeling they very nicely created. So initially, not everybody was not given access. It was a premium product. So they did that well.
Yeah, they played on the credit score.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
So then people feel that, oh, that's a premium product. So people who have the money, they want to be part of it. And hence their branding has worked out. What they wanted to say, they said in doing that. Other brand,
Scale.
Skeayl, huh? Oh, good. Nice plug. Yeah, that's a good one. Uh, I mean, if you're open to it, like what is Skeayl?
It's a mentor operating system. Okay, so to say. Now there are mentors, trainers who want to, who do not have the time, the space, or the capability, or they are getting into this grunt work of taking care of a lot of admin work, not focus on their specifics of actually training. That's where Skeayl it comes into the picture, where Skeayl is going to help them get rid of all the admin work and focus only on what they have to teach or train.
Got it.
Um,
Got it. In the process of mentoring, you're saying.
yeah, this is for the mentors.
Got it.
So mentors, trainers, anybody who wants to teach, who wants to impart their knowledge, they can come be a part of it.
So, I mean, if it's okay talking, please feel free to stop me whenever. But if you look at ADP list or top mate, there also you can be a mentor. There's very limited admin work in that, right?
Yeah, but you know how much time it takes for you to set up a course? It takes a lot of
You know about courses.
courses. You can also come and host your own events if you have a talk that you want to talk. If there is a master class that you want to speak of, you can come host it there, and we will help you reach out to your audience. You don't have to worry about who should you reach out to. You don't have to worry about the marketing. We will take care of it. So
Got it.
yeah, TopMate. These are all free platforms.
Got it.
Where I understand that. I mean, there's not much reach. It's just to people who are using the same platform will find you, and then talk to you. That's how you reach out, right? Here we help you scale. That's why the name Skeayl. On we help you make more money
Got
by reaching out to millions of people.
So okay. So if you if I'm looking at it from the story perspective, right? So the problem that you mentioned first was
We are diagnosing Skeayl now.
I mean, if you're open to it, if not, definitely. So the problem that you said initially was that there is a lot of admin work that comes in.
Because we have been mentors.
Sorry.
So we remember one and a half year ago when we had to set up the system, we had to understand how the marketing happens, how the sales happens, how should you what should go on your website, what kind of copyright should
Correct.
be put out. You should learn performance marketing, you should learn how to do organic marketing. All of that is there, but then your scope of teaching gets sidelined, and you become an expert, or you have to invest in so many other places. And the whole idea of you just wanting to just teach people, I'm good at this, say I'm good at designing something, or I'm good at coding something. I don't want to get into the headache of learning marketing. I don't want to sell. I don't want to but we have done all that. right? Because I learned sales, I learned marketing, I learned how to design websites.
Got it.
Yeah, or we had to take care of all of this. So yeah, that's the kind of struggle a mentor who wants to make a name for himself or herself goes through, right? They have this passion for teaching, but then it gets lost in this admin work.
I'll just simplify it to the dumbest level. Uh, if I'm good at making dosas, doesn't mean I'm good at making the batter. I'm not good at picking the rice. I'm not good at making sambar. I just know how to do that circle thing very nicely. So let me make the dosa. That's it.
And you are promising that we'll help you set up a restaurant with. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we eventually will move on to B2B. This is where we are starting off in the B2B sector. We just released the MVP, and we are focusing on mentors in the B2C sector. Eventually, we want to move to B2B, where we want to give Skeayl as a white label platform to organizations where they can host their trainings, their anything that they want to host. They can just make use of Skeayl and you know uh, host their trainings. Like anytime any new joinee comes, they have to go through a training by some person from the team, and say this person is responsible for training any newcomer, and his work is so repetitive.
Correct.
That 10 people come in, 10 times he gives these trainings. So once you set this up training somewhere, that standardize it, no matter how many people come in, you just give this off. They take a day or two to complete it, and then they're sorted. They don't have to be dependent on someone. So that's one of the thought process. Yeah.
Superb. So if you look at the story that you're telling right now, so when you're looking at uh, uh, it, I think the story is already in place. You're starting with the problem and you're looking at um, so this is all answer to the question of what are the Indian brands that do storytelling well. So and we have taken Skeayl as a case study to so the problem, you started with the problem, you're giving the solution, and you're also talking about the future, okay, but the future that you're talking about is almost a business model. You've come to a business model, and also some impact is also there, that you don't have to waste time doing this again and again. That also comes in the problem area. You are focusing on admin tasks, right? As a mentor, most people don't know that there is admin task involved in it. They don't know. So when they start, they're gonna give up.
It's so much to it.
Correct.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe there's also a problem that people who do not understand this. So like Topmate and the ADP list, mentorship to me is that I put this out there, somebody can come talk to me. So and that is the only format that I understand. So for me now, I want to first be taught that there is a possibility of scaling that also comes there. It's not just one-on-one things. There is a possibility that you can actually scale it. And people have actually done it before. That the same thing that you're doing in one-on-one, people are actually scaling it to 1 to 1,000 and making that much money. Once I understand that, but you also should then you add the problem of, but to do that scaling, these 5 things are the things that are going to be a blocker. You need to know marketing, this. You don't have, and then you don't have to worry of any of this. Just bring your content. And then the future. Okay, now future may also, I don't know, future be like the Don Normans of the world, right? You can be an equivalent of Don Norman, who actually had teachings put out there, and he became an identity for the design world, right? So every mentor has the power to be there, to reach that point. Now, give promise the promise to be an equal of Don Norman to a mentor, and I think that's a good future vision for anybody, right? Oh, I would love to be in a position where my words are taken with so much importance, and I'm able to figure out so many things for the design community. So that no, in that journey, that should be my vision. So that is there. Then it's a different story. Your B2B story would be a different story altogether. That if it goes to a corporate, this is how it's going to be. These are two different stories. So nice, yeah, love this. Would love to check it out. Is it something open for?
Can enroll. It's open for it's you. I mean, you can go and enroll yourself as a mentor.
Okay.
We will reach out to you.
Super.
Yeah.
Let me try that. Let me see.
By the way, Skeayl is spelled as Skaeyl. We had to play with the words.
Okay.
Sorry, letters.
SK
AEYL.
Skeayl. Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
It's not. It's not simple as.
Correct. It's not easy, but
Yeah.
yeah. Nice. I'd love to try it, and I want to see if there are any takers for storytelling content.
I would absolutely take it.
Should we bypass the platform and do the payment directly or something?
Uh, if you had to, talk about buzzwords, because you are kind of a pioneer in this, in a way, right? Are there any more storytellers who are catering to this industry?
I think so. So there are many. I don't think I should say many. There are there are a lot of storytellers out there who own the role of a storyteller. Okay, so the person who wrote story brand, so brand story. So I think story brand. I don't know. I'm not sure. So he has he even tried to create an AI tool for building story brands, I think. So there are some people out there. Steve Clayton Bolke, there is somebody who's chief storyteller for Microsoft. I think Microsoft Hyderabad mein there is a team specifically called storytelling team. Yeah, so the all of them are I don't know what exactly the kind of tasks that they take up on a daily basis, but there is a storytelling team. So that's how important storytelling is. And there are many people who Robbie Crabtree bolke there is one person. Again, he does storytelling content about how companies can do storytelling and stuff. There are many people who do that, but then the problem is that storytelling is such an abused word that everybody uses it and talks about it, that it is a, by itself, storytelling itself is a buzzword. So uh, I struggle because of that. So when I say storytelling, I go and say I do storytelling for I will try and do storytelling for you. Founders usually think I'm going to say some I don't know, motivational speaker. Speaking is a domain where there are storytellers there, speech writers, and all of those are there. But in tech space also, when I say storytelling, they connect it to something else. They connect it to uh, the hare and the tortoise wala story. Those are the stories, right? The woodcutter axe falls into the water. Those are stories. Story means something else. So the word story itself, right now, I think it's an abused and buzzword. It's in that domain. Everybody says I'm a storyteller. I'm a visual storyteller. I'm a this storyteller. I do storyteller. I'm ad me there storytelling. So yeah. So I'm trying to detach and see if there is some other word that I can use to better describe what I do. So I'm struggling with the storytelling of myself. So it's a tough space.
If you look at yourself 10, 15 years ago, I don't know, if your childhood was in Cochin, would you as a young person be proud of what you're doing now?
Mm,
Or did you even think if you would be in a place like this?
I would absolutely have no idea in my childhood that, see, my education was a little messed up. So my education was very specific to, it's like following the KPIs, good marks, get good marks, get good rank, get good job, that one. Didn't do any of those things, but the KPIs were there. You can meet or not meet is a different thing, but the KPIs were the fixed ones. There was no introspection, reflection, understand what you are good at. That was not part of my education process. I went to learn. I did my first job, worked there for 4 years, then went to do my masters. Masters was at one of the best design schools in India. I did my design in product design from NID Ahmedabad. There, I did that course with the same KPIs. Finish assignment, that this. It's after that course I realized, yeah, I had something that good, and I somehow feel I didn't utilize it well. So after my NID time only, I really started questioning what am I actually good at. So the thing that you said, that I mentioned, that your eye for visual detail, I do not have that a lot. So I don't see tiny mistakes here and there. No, I don't notice. And I know, yeah, see, if I don't see it, if I don't have a taste for it, I'm not going to be the best in it. So I kept looking at what are the things that I'm not really noticing. I didn't notice the space I'm noticing. None of the things I'm noticing. The only thing I kept noticing was how people try to explain something, how people try to communicate something and they fail at it. So that was really giving me an itch. Yeah, you could have said it like this and it would have been so much better. And as I looked at that, I realized, and then I did a retrospection of all my life, which were my most happiest moment. There are many such events where I was standing and explaining something to a group of people. And I remember one of my friends in college, there was a seminar, which was randomly one IEEE paper you had to present. Everybody did random things. I remember talking about some snake robot or something. Random thing I did. But after that presentation, maybe 5 years later, I meet one of my batchmates, Ajit KR Bolke. He came and told me this, and he said, Macha, I remember your snake robot wala presentation. To me, that was one of the most validating responses that I've had. I'm like, yeah, how do you remember it after 5 years? That was a moment it was etched in my mind. I'm like, okay, maybe there was something I did right that made me go there. So I looked at all those moments where I was able to communicate something, simplify something, explain something in a different way. I connected all those dots and I realized this is something that comes naturally to me. Rather than any of these things, sketching, all of this, more than that, this is something that comes. Let me just try taking that up as a career. I'm absolutely loving every single day of this. I'm in the best possible role. Yeah. So
Is there any book that you're reading currently?
Currently,
You definitely have a lot of books, and there are a lot that say I
my staying true to my persona of being bad at education. I like starting books but not finishing them. So there is this book called Story Smart, Story Proof. These are amazing books. Both of them are super powerful books to read. Then for B2B sales, if you're interested, April Dunford is somebody who is an expert at positioning. So she has a book called Sales Pitch, I think. Amazing book. So check out that. That gives you a bit of storytelling and positioning. So she has obviously awesome one book and Sales Pitch. So I'm trying to read three things and make some connections out of it. So Sales Pitch is a book by April Dunford. Obviously Awesome is another book by April Dunford. Then Bob Moesta, who made the Jobs to be Done framework. He has a book called Demand Side Sales. So connecting these three things and narratives, I'm trying to build a framework right now. So so these are the three books I'm reading right now, because especially I want to use the right language to convince founders. So these books are helping me figure that out. Based on storytelling, I think Hero with a Thousand Faces is a good book, and I'm going to seem like a fraud, but I have not finished the book, which is you could consider the Bible of all the storyteller wala.
you're busy applying it, so it's okay. Yeah.
You could say that, but I am scared. I feel that imposter syndrome that, yeah, is there something I'm missing out that I've not read on the book? That is one thing. Then there is a book called 50 Best Speeches in the World. It has Abraham Lincoln speech. There are a lot of top 50 speeches are there. That's also a beautiful book to see how did they, Martin Luther King. Oh, there is this book, Resonate by Nancy Duart. If you are into any sort of presentations, must read book. She has an amazing book. It's a must read. You would love it. Easiest read, superb graphics. It's one of the best books that has been put together. Nancy Duart.
Okay.
Resonate.
Any last words that you would like to impart towards designers who are
Top product managers are
managers, designers who are around 2 to 3 years of their career? They're struggling with this imposterity because you also come from a design background. How should they apply storytelling into their lives to get better at what they're doing?
Yeah. So I still don't have an answer to this big question of what really is a designer's role and all. So it's a complex question. I don't want to get into that. But at some level, I feel as a designer, you are also hired or you're part of a team to share your opinion. Your opinion of, yeah, this might work if we do this, and a very well informed opinion about something. We looked at the users. This is what we see that might work, and according to me, we should try this. I think a designer's role should fall there. They should be not just taking orders from somebody and designing whatever is asked. A designer is supposed to share their opinion, have a voice, and the vision, they should have a vision of what is being built. I think a designer's role needs it. A designer's role, the bare minimum of a designer's role is that you have an opinion that in what is being built. The problem in our industry right now is designers, I don't think, are given the value that they deserve.
To be crude, they are treated as laborers.
Correct. 100%. They're treated as laborers, right? So, which is why AI will replace and all those conversations are coming. But if as an individual you want your opinion to be out there, the simple thing of it is not always the best idea that wins. It is always the best communicated idea that wins. So if you have an opinion and you think that's the right direction to go for the team, use storytelling as a simple tool to make others also see that vision you're seeing. Use storytelling to make your idea seem more attractive and make it more possible, so that you actually have a role in what is being shaped. Most people just sit and say, yeah, I told them, nobody's listening. Finally, whatever was asked, I made that. Instead of that, have a say and use storytelling to make sure that whatever you're saying appears or is a part of what is being built. So I think that's my last. Use the burger method. Yeah, use the burger method to convince people.
I think what you have given us, they have given us a lot of things to think about. Everyone who is going to listen to this will just sit down and take a sigh and think about stuff for a long time. That's very important. It's going to help a lot of people. That includes me, honestly. So we really want to thank you for this. And sometime later, we would love to have you back, because I don't think this is enough. I think you have a lot to say, and we would really like to talk to you. When that is, we'll connect. But yeah, thank you so much. If you want to share with people how you felt in this podcast, that would be great.
So again, one of the first experiences that I've had, and very comforting space. The questions, I wouldn't say are easy questions. Okay, I'm gonna say the questions are not. It is questions like this that actually make you think and make you evaluate where you stand. So I think a lot of your questions made me evaluate my understanding of things, and I really thank you both for that, for getting these questions together. There were certain angles, like you asked the brutal questions of, okay, so what was the you multiple times I had to defend, and I don't know how good of a job that I did. I'm also in the process of cleaning up my story, right? So I really enjoyed the conversation. I think it has opened up a few at least questions for me. I'm going to be working on them and would love to come back and talk more with better examples next time.
So he's the Cassandra right now, in a way, right now.
Do you both believe me? Then I don't think I have to worry that I'm a.
No, we believe you. It's just, yeah.
But I'd like to end by asking one question. Where can I have the best Onam Sadhya in Bangalore? Because I've never tried.
Is it your home?
No, we have never pulled off full sadhya. Okay, so there a friend of mine and her brother, Sanitra Raju and her brother, have started this pop-up based restaurant in Radisson Blue. It's called Tijori. Tijori, I think, means treasure chest.
Yeah.
So what they do is they bring home chefs who have figured out certain things, and they from different communities, cultures, like Bengali food, all different food. They come, and there's a certain time where that kind of food is being served. So for Onam, whatever food I've had from them has been amazing. So I've really loved the food I've had there. And they've had Onam Sadhya, I've seen them serving it. So especially because I have high hopes from them and I am putting them at a very high standard, I'm hoping their Sadhya might be nice. So I can share a link for Tijori, and you should explore what they.
You get Onam Sadhya only during Onam, or you
No, Onam Sadhya you get only during Onam. Otherwise it's just Sadhya.
I mean, is it the same thing that's
It
served?
is almost the same. It's almost the same. For every weddings, if you go, I'm married right now, but make a Mallu friend and go to their wedding. Good sadhya we can try.
Some contacts in the we'll all call those people.
So yeah. So absolutely, yeah. Have that. That's the ideal position for me.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being a part of.
If you could just call out to people to subscribe to the Vivid Yellow podcast by XP Wave.
Okay. Whoever is watching, this is some amazing stuff that's happening here, and it's not so. What I really appreciate about what's happening is it's not a very siloed just podcast sort of thing. I think there are a lot of things running. This entire space that as I walk in, I can see there is a certain energy to this space, and I can feel a certain the potential brimming wala feeling is coming from this space, and I'm hoping to see a lot more from this team. And please have a close eye on these guys. I think some really good stuff is going to come. Yeah,
So much. Thank you so much for being here as well.
absolutely enjoyed being here, guys.
Listen to that.